Friends, welcome to Saathwic Infotech Devops Learning Series. Today we are going to see about how are the environment files. There are few environment files which we discussed in the last session. How those gettings are executed in an order so that we can use those variables in our shell scripting. So this session will be particularly very important session. As a DevOps engineer, if you are working into Terraform or any other tools, most of the time they recommend you to store the credentials in an environment file. Okay, this is one of the option, but it's not the final option, right? It's one of the option. Remaining there are other options like storing the credentials in the vault and other things like that. So as part of that, if you want to understand the upcoming session, this will be like more important for you to understand, right? So that's where like I am covering this environment file session. Okay, so whenever I log into this Linux system, right? So if you look at I have logged into my mobile system with the user DevOps. Okay, so whenever we log into the Linux system, okay, we try to go and execute, right? We have seen like ls, then we have did cd. There are many commands we did, correct? Vi. So there are a lot of commands we did. So by any chance, do you know like how did these commands are getting executed? Okay, in one of our session I have just given you a clue that okay, in Linux all these commands are nothing but it's a script. Okay, the script will get executed based on your environment file configuration. So even I have given an analogy like okay, how the environment variables configurations with respect to Windows works. So in case if you download any software from internet without a executable, you just add that path to your environment variable so that Windows knows that whenever you call this function, which library it has to execute, which binary it has to execute. The same way here also in Linux also we have few environment variables by which it understand how it's getting executed. For example, let me make one directory called mkdir scripting, maybe script. Let me go to script directory. So I am going to write a sample script. So vi, let me name it a sample. Okay. So here I am going to have one simple echo statement. This is my test script, and again I am going to output a special variable called path. Okay, so now let me grant execute permission. Okay, well, let me see what is the permission first of all for sample. Hope you remember my last session. You will understand what is the permission we have set by using umask. It's only read write. So with read write you cannot execute this file. So let me give chmod 700 to retain, just to grant execute permission only to the owner, not to others. Okay, okay, fine. So what do you mean by like okay, give execute permission only to owner and you removing the other permissions? Maybe whenever you can compare the analogy, right? So you will have something like in Windows, when you have multiple user, while installing any software or any user, it will say that okay, will this will be used by other users in your system. If you say yes, it will grant permission to other user, or else it won't. So that's how it's similar, right? So my script will be visible only to me. You know, right? In our system, we have Oracle and other few users which will not able to access this particular file. So that's why I am giving this. Okay. Now let me try to execute this sample. Okay. What are you getting? I am getting my echo statement. This is my test script. Along with that, I am getting my path variable. What are the path variable which is configured? Okay. Before that, let me tell you few more things, right? So we were discussing about ls. When I execute ls, I am not actually executing it. It's just a command which runs, right? So now my question is, I want to make my shell script to execute in the same way as ls. Mean to say that if I type sample, it has to run. So in this case, if I give sample, it says command not found, right? So because Linux server does not know what is this, so where to search for it and other things like that. So we are going to ensure that my script run in the same way however my ls is running. Okay, because like in most of the projects you will see this kind of options also used, where we see people are thinking that okay, how this is working, something like that. So that's where like I want to give you the clear clarity on like how this works, right? So I have created a script. Okay, so what happens when you type sample? You should really know what happens when you type sample. So when you type sample, Linux will go and look for as in file or library or anything named sample in the below directories. Okay, whatever the variable which has been outputted in the path, right? These are environment variables. Just go and look for a file called sample only in these directories. Okay, as the sample is present inside home DevOps script, Linux really does not know the script present here. So first thing what we have to do, let me print the echo path here. So path is the variable which stores all the path values, means to say that wherever Linux want to search for a particular command or particular executable, whatever you are looking at. Okay, if you remember initially I might have said all ls cd, all the commonly used commands will get saved in either user local bin or user bin or user local s bin or user s bin in these four directories. For example, if I remove this from path, okay, let me show you that too, right? So export path equal to, let me put only this command. So I am going to remove those system defined variables from the path. So now I have removed, right? So if you look at my echo dollar path, even I don't know echo will be there. Yeah, echo is there. So now if I put ls, see even for ls, it says that command not found. Why it says command not found? Because ls is not present in one of these directories. ls libraries are present in these directories. So that's the reason your ls is not working. So with this understanding, if I want to make sample to work in the same way as ls, I need to add my path to our environment variable called path. Hope I made very clear. Let me reset the things. Export path equal to this one. So if I do ls, it will work now. Let me clear the screen. Now for our thing, right? Let me go echo the path again. So now I need to add a new value to the existing path. So how will you do? Dollar path colon slash home slash devops slash script. So what does it mean? The command export path, right? So when I use export, it's something like use this particular variable, okay, with this particular value in this current session. Okay, you have to very much understand this. So when I say export path some value, it will ensure that the path, wherever you use the path in this particular session, it will be using this output. Okay, only for this session. For example, if I open another session for maybe let me show you, right? So Oracle, okay, Oracle SU DevOps clear. So now here if you do echo dollar path, you don't see that. You don't see this path because this is pertaining to only this session. If you close this session, this variable will go away. Okay, until then for temporary purpose I am showing you. I will tell you how to add this permanently also. Okay, now if I type sample, what Linux will do? It will go if there are any scripts named sample in any one of this directory. Okay, when it comes to this directory, it will find that sample. By that way, it can able to execute. You see that, right? The output of sample, this is my test script and my environment variable path, which is getting displayed. Okay. See, one more important thing you need to understand here. So that's why like I specifically added this path variable. Okay. Now, if you look at when I export path, okay, this is visible to this particular session and also the child sessions invoked in this particular session. Okay, Kumar, you are making me very confused. What does it mean? Okay, let me make it very clear. So, as I said, when you do export, this will be visible to the complete session. Correct? When I say complete session, until you do an exit here, this is a session. So, when I run any script, okay, let's take in my case sample. How does this sample runs? Sample will invoke a child session from this parent session. Okay, sample will invoke child session where it's try to execute the command whichever given inside the script. So in our case, if I run sample, still I see the parent session variable home/devops. It means that when you do an export, okay, the value of a variable is visible to that particular session and its child session, not to any other new sessions. Okay, it's only visible to each session and its child session. Okay, great. Hope I made it very clear. Okay, so we understood how to use export. With export, how do we pass a variable from the parent session to the child session? Okay, now let me understand from where this path variable and all set, right? So we are, see, when we logged in, so for example, let me exit, right? Okay, I am an Oracle user. So su-devops ops. Okay, so if you look at here, my ls works. So my dollar path works. Where are those things getting set up initially? So if I want to add it again with any new value, I am adding it by using export path equal to dollar path colon some new parameter or new value which I am adding. But when I log in, how these are getting set automatically? So that is another important thing, right? Because let me show you few hidden files. How come these are like added? It's because of this hidden files. Like there are like bash rc, bash profile, bash logout, kshrc. So because of these configuration files, these things are getting added. Okay. So now what are we going to do, Kumar? So we are going to look at one each file and see what is its content, and I am going to explain its what it is importance. Okay. So what happens is whenever you log into any system, the first file to get executed is your bash rc file. Okay. So let us view what is the content of bash rc. Okay, if you look at this bash rc file, it's saying if -f etc bash rc. Okay, what is etc bash rc? There is a global file called etc bash rc which will get used if the file exists. Okay, then we are saying execute the file. Okay, there is importance to it. If you look at, this is not dot slash, this is dot space slash. So there is an importance for this dot here. I will explain you. Okay. So basically try to understand, it's sourcing the global definition. Means that for every user by default they have a default setting configured under etc. Okay. So from this what we understand, whatever this bash rc is for user specific setting. If you want to look at the global specific setting, you always refer to etc bash rc file. Hope I make clear. Great. So, and one more thing, now it's checking whether the path variable as Okay, this is like kind of a regular expression. Okay, it's double checking that if my path variable consists of a variable called home dot local bin, means that slash home devops slash local dot bin. It's checking if that is there in this path variable. If it is not, it is saying add that variable to the path, and then they are exporting this path. And as we discussed last week, we have set umask to 0077 for security, for ensuring our security for all the files created. So so let us check what is there in slash etc bash rc file. If you look at slash etc with dot bash rc file, it is going to set all your default configuration. Okay, what is, see, if you look at, this is the default umask which is getting configured 002. So or else it will use 022. What we did, we have overwritten this umask in our local setting. So these are the default variable which is getting configured, but it will be very too high for you to understand because it has lot of scripts and everything. So I don't want to get you guys confused. Just ensure there are few there are few configuration files in etc also. These are system specific. It is globally applicable to all the users. It's not specific to you, it's applicable to all the users in the server, like DevOps and everything. So let's focus on .bash rc. So in this bash rc, in this case, right, we have path, and it's very simple script now. It has only path and it's executing the global variable. For example, if I want to, like earlier session I was showing you, right, when you go to the new session, you don't see that script directly automatically added because it's local or it's temporary. So if I want to make it very permanent, I need to add that code here. So export path equal to dollar path colon slash, maybe I can use dollar home slash script. Okay, it means that this value will get added whenever a user DevOps login. This will not be visible to Oracle user. This will be visible only to DevOps user because we are doing these changes to the sorry, we are doing these changes only specific, the bash rc file specific to DevOps user. For example, if I want to ensure whoever uses the system needs to have access to my directory called home script, then I need to put this value in etc bash rc file. Okay, if you want to set something like globally, you have to use in etc bash rc. If you want to set something specific to user, you have to set it here. Okay, hope I made very clear on this. Okay, let us check that too. Okay, let me exit. Clear. So I am in Oracle, so I am going to log into DevOps. So now if I echo, maybe I will run the sample directly. It works because if you see, it got the path from my profile file. Okay, so let us look at the other files, what they are for. See, the main file will be always bash rc file. Okay, in some places what they will do, they will create the dot profile file. For example, vi dot profile. So why they create a separate file rather than adding to .bash rc? This will be like pertaining to your application. For example, if you are maybe in our upcoming sessions, right, we will be installing Jenkins, Maven, and SonarQube and everything onto a server. So when we do that, for particular user, we need to say that okay, in order to Jenkins to work, we should have a Java. So system should know where is Java is installed. So if I want to know where is Java installed, I need to add export, sorry, export Java underscore home equal to some value. Okay, it's the same way, export maven underscore home equal to some value. By this way, when you run your Jenkins job, Jenkins understand Using which library I need to load Java, using which library I will need to load Maven and everything. Okay. So if it is specific to your some kind of an application, people generally use dot profile file, and then what they will do, they will call this dot profile file into your bash rc. So what they do, they go into bash rc, they come to the bottom, they will keep dot dollar home slash dot profile. Okay, now I have added it, right? Let me exit. Devops echo $java underscore home. See, if you look at Java home is active now. Because I don't have Java in my DevOps account, so I just given some value. So the same way echo dollar maven home. See, that's how they will create a separate configuration file for our applications. Okay. So there are few other files like, okay, logout and bash profile. This all like will get executed when you want to set some custom. For example, if you view dash dot bash profile, again it's nothing but it's execute your bash rc file. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Hope you guys understand what is this, right? Tilde symbol is nothing but I said when you give cd tilde, it takes your home directory. It means that home directory dot bash rc file. If this file is there, just execute it. Okay. See logout. See, it executes the same logout file in the local which is commented out, nothing. Because for example, whenever user logs out, if you want to give some custom message, okay, you have been logging, you have been successfully logged out from your system, so on time, something like that. You can customize those messages here so that it get executed when user logs out. See, the same way people will tend to do this in profile file. They will add something like echo oh, sorry. So here if you look at, people will do echo something like that. Okay, just to welcome the user, nothing much. It's all like fancy because you will understand like, okay, echo for using Maven, for using Jenkins, sorry, use Java home. Okay, colon dollar Java underscore home echo welcome to DevOps account, which helps which helps in executing your pipeline, something like that. It's all like some welcome messages. I trying to say that, okay, it will have some welcome messages. Okay, now let me exit. Now if I log in su-devops, you see those welcome messages, right? Okay, sorry, view dot bash rc, did I press dollar? View dollar profile. So dollar is considered as a number, so it's a special, it has its own special value. So let me use ash. So now if I exit and log in, you see, right? After immediately you log in, it gives you some messages. So you can customize your messages in your actual server. You will see in most of the cases you will see like, okay, you will have your home directory configured here. So you will have your home directory displayed here. This is nothing but they will call it as ps1 variable. So this is also configured at the root level. In most of the cases, you can even customize that at the user level, because we don't want to go into that much detail, because the intention of this session is to make yourself understand how the variables are getting flown from the profile files to your script. Okay, I think I made it clear. If you have any questions with this, just comment it. Okay, from next session onwards, we will go into some advanced command like grep, arc, cd and other things like that, and then we will go with a sample structure of shell scripting. If you are good at with any programming language, it will be like almost easy, like if, for and other things like that. So we will go with those structures, and then we will move on to our actual DevOps learning like Jenkins, Maven, other things like that. Okay, so thanks guys, thanks for following, thanks for your time, have a great day.